This is going to be your number one sales channel that you don't have to spend money on. You don't have to spend ads on. You don't have to do anything other than learn how to get booked and then learn how to blow people's minds in a way that converts to instant customers. We have cracked the code on this.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started. And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said.
Okay, we're about to share with everybody who is unable to go hang out with Dan Martell and his amazing wife, Renee, and go to her pink skirt event this past weekend. We're going to share the lessons you took out of that room. And not only did you get lessons from stage, but you got lessons from some of the intimate conversations with the other speakers. So we're going to borrow some of those lessons and share them with everybody who's listening right now who is unable to attend. But before we do that, everybody has to know, and they have to go register for your remarkable free training coming up, where you are training people how to be a professional podcast guest and train other people's podcasts as your number one sales channel, creating tons and tons of leads that convert into tons and tons of money. Tell us about it.
Okay, so this is a framework that I have created after 10 years, 1,600 episodes, and interviewing some of the top guests. Now, this is not just about me doing the interview. This is about the documents that I got to see that they send me long before the interview. I'm talking about the pitch media kit. I'm talking about the documents that get me prepared for the podcast that they send with their topics, with their questions, what the layout is, what their hooks are, what their mic drop moments are. Guys, this is so premeditated and pre-planned. This is a verbal conversation funnel. So a lot of you have learned about what a sales page is. You've learned about what funnels are. What a podcast is truly a conversation funnel. So it is a sales funnel done in conversation, verbal form. That is what I'm going to teach you from start to finish. And the people who really get this, the people who really, really get this, you're going to hear some of this in this conversation that Chris and I are going to have one of the best years of sales in their life, because this is going to get you off of the hamster wheel of social media. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still important to have a presence there, but this is such an underestimated, overlooked sales channel, you guys.
Well, not only that, there's a difference between two different types of podcast guests. The guests that go on and they spend an hour of their time and they get nothing out of it. And then the guests that go on and they walk away making $100,000 or $25,000 or $1 million over time by being a guest on that podcast. And the difference is the prep that goes into it, from sending the questions to the host to making it flow right, to even if the host doesn't use your questions, knowing how to turn every answer into a sales pitch that adds value. There's an art to this, and you're going to break down the art for them in a free training. Now, to get the free training, all they have to do is go to
milliondollarguest.com/training.
That's milliondollarguest.com/training. Hit pause right now. Go register. It's totally free. milliondollarguest.com/training. milliondollarguest.com/training. All right. So you got on that stage at Renee's amazing pink skirt event, and your friends got on that stage, Jen Gottlieb and Maria Wendt and everybody else, Samantha Kelly, you name it, because they have mastered the art of performing well on podcasts that then made them get seen, that then made them get invited to stages like this. Break that down for me.
So when I think about how we have all built ourselves up, there's so much that goes into that. And that a very large piece of becoming what we are calling the omnipresent, obvious expert. There are pieces that go into that, such as obviously social media, having a social media presence, having your messaging dialed in, obviously having a website, having offerings. But a big piece of it is your ability to influence and to create credibility. And a big way to be able to do that is through other people's audiences. Now, why do I believe in other people's audiences so much, especially other people's stages, and most of all, other people's podcasts? So my main thing that I am so focused on right now, and I will tell you why in a minute, I have so many testimonials that are about to rock your world and blow your mind, is that I am so committed to helping you profit off of other people's podcasts. So I want to help you poop in the worst way.
Profit off of other people's podcasts. Poop. It spells poop.
It's because this program is the absolute shit. So I'm literally so excited to help you do this, because through the 10 years of doing this, I have watched people become famous through podcasting. I have watched people have this be their biggest sales channel. I have watched people land speaking gigs, opportunities, get investors, all from other people's podcasts. Now, mind you, why is a podcast host of 10 years who has invested so much time and money telling you that you should not start a podcast and you should just go on other people's? Because you guys, I am about to dedicate a ton of my time just going on other shows because of how profitable my guests have been who do the framework that I'm about to share on this live training. I'm about to completely pull back the curtain of all of the media kits, of all of the prep documents, of everything that goes into a podcast that positions itself to be a future 7-figure funnel for you guys.
So I want to go back to this thing that you called the omnipresent obvious expert, because that's what each person on the stage at Renee's event was, right? One was an expert in breathwork. One was an expert in social media. Adley. One was an expert in being seen. Jen.
Expert low ticket.
Maria Wendt. Yep.
Low ticket offers.
Sales. Yep. So everyone is the omnipresent obvious expert. How do they become that? Because you use that term.
So you're going to become that by showing up on every single channel and having clear messaging, but also making sure that you are doing high leverage things. So hitting on high leverage opportunities, and some of the highest leverage opportunities that you can do are stages, partnerships, and one of the biggest is podcasts. And one of the biggest is podcasts because of what I call the trust transfer method. The trust transfer method is when you show up in a certain way that is prepared, which I'll teach on this training, where you are completely prepared that when you go on someone's audience, like mine, who has been doing this podcast for 10 years, 1,600 episodes, my audience has not only bought from me, but has immediately bought from other people. What happens when you are positioned correctly, when you have everything right within this method, within this framework, and you go on, what happens is like what happened to Samantha Skelly, who came on my show. This was 2017, you guys. This was only 1 year into me podcasting. And this was when nobody totally knew her name yet. Like, she had a small audience. Her and I were still up and coming, but I had dedicated so much time to my podcast at this point because I really wanted this to be a huge channel for me. Samantha Skelly came on. I was introduced to her by way of a friend. Did not know who she was. Like I said, small audience, small list. She had a program called Hungry for Happiness, where she was certifying different trainers within her certification of, I believe it was coaching, different health coaching. And so she came on, we had a great conversation. She followed this particular framework that I have. We literally had incredible chemistry. It was the exact right time in the world as well to be talking about this topic. She pitched it in such an incredible way that I was very, very interested in this topic. She was very personalized to the pitch, so I was really interested. She had talked about some things that she knew that I was excited to talk about. And she came on and she promoted the podcast a lot after she was done because she was very excited about being on the podcast. And then what happened afterward is she literally just let me know at this event that I saw her at that she had made $100,000 30 days later from our podcast
directly attributed to it.
episode.
Yep.
Literally, they all mentioned the podcast when they joined. And so I don't think people understand what a huge sales channel this is when you nail this. But the thing is that there's a million things that you could be putting your time, energy, and effort into, which do incredible things. Obviously, if you have an incredible webinar and a funnel and all of the different things set up that we hear about all the time, or your social media and you get really great at organic, obviously that is an incredible channel as well. But you are competing with so many other people. And the reason that podcasting and being a guest, essentially what I'm going to be calling a professional guest, being a professional guest on podcasts is so incredible right now is because you are not competing with such a large sea of people who are good at this. There's a handful of people that I can think about who really put their energy here, who just crush it as a sales channel. And what you do is essentially you get to go on and immediately gain the trust of this audience who, if this podcast host likes you and you get to go on the podcast and you do well at this, all of a sudden these people transfer into leads or sales or followers immediately because you are collapsing time. Now, Daniel Priestley, one of my favorite teachers, talks about something called the 7-11-4 rule. So that is 7 touch points, 11 hours, and 4 different brands or people who your brand is associated with. And so when you think of short form content, which right now they say is one of the best ways to grow your personal brand, when you think of how long a reel is that does well, they're about 7 seconds. So a podcast is 60 minutes of talking deeply about your story, really getting to know you, really hearing the fact that you can hold a 60-minute conversation and you're a very personable, knowledgeable, likable person, where a reel, anybody could be likable and potentially funny and smart for 7 seconds, especially now with AI. And when you think of how long that would take, that's actually 514 7-second reels that you would need to do in order to do 1 hour of podcasting, in order to gain 1 hour. Now, imagine if you went on 7 podcasts. For my math guy, Chris, what is 514 essentially times 7? That is how many reels that you would have to do compared to just going on 7 different podcasts.
Yeah, there's 3,500 of them.
3,500 reels. Like, good luck if you even get to that in 5 years. So when you think about podcasting from that way, you can create so much trust in front of audiences that already exist. And now there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts. There are tens of thousands of very active podcasts right now. And we all need guests. Now, when I say that we need guests, we need good guests, because I have done 1,600 episodes, and I can tell you that probably only 20% of those guests or less were actually good. And so what this training is doing is teaching you how to be a great guest in your zone of genius and start monetizing podcast guesting. Now, is this going to happen for everybody right away off the top of getting a podcast? Probably not. But if you are already positioned in a good place, have an offering, and know your messaging, you absolutely could monetize really well right away with this training.
And there's a structure to that, and you're going to give away that structure for absolutely free. No BS, no bait and switch. You're giving away that structure. You're giving away that training for free.
Yep.
And all they have to do to get that is go to
milliondollarguest.com/training.
milliondollarguest.com/training. That is milliondollarguest.com/training. First free training is the 21st of July. So seriously, go to milliondollarguest.com/training.
Okay, and I want to give you the cliff notes of the event. I'm going to give you the fastest cliff notes because there are some things that I was obviously sitting there for 2 days, which this was such a cool event because it was one of the only events outside of Lindsay's Powerhouse event that when I've gone, I actually went and sat in the room as an attendee the entire time, except for the one time that I was on stage. Then I went and sat my ass right back down in the chair because I wanted to hear and learn from every single speaker. So I'm going to give you cliff notes really quickly. Dan Martell was on stage, and obviously there were a million genius things that he said, but I want to share with you that he dropped a couple just wisdom bombs and one-liner sentences that also This is such a key of a top performer and somebody who people remember, and a top trainer and one of the most successful people in the industry is they know their sound bites. And you guys, the reason that I can give you such quick feedback on Dan is because he knows his sound bites. And that's also what we teach in $1 Million Guest. So he stood on stage and would say sentences like, be patient with results and impatient with action. And then he would go on to tell what that means. And so everybody was already so hooked in because he's learned how to take a big idea and compress it into a single sentence that makes us lean in. The other thing that he said frequently throughout the talk was feel the feels and fly the plane anyway. Feel the feels, fly the plane. Feel the feels, fly the plane. And he was talking about how in business, it is so incredibly emotional. And one of the things that all of the greats learn how to do is continue to fly the plane, no matter how they're feeling, how turbulent it gets, how bumpy it gets. Feel the feels, keep flying the plane. That is the key. So Adley took the stage later. And if you don't know who that is, she is one of the most incredible people who teaches social media. She has the most views, I believe,
over 1 billion views per month
of anyone within the last year, if I'm getting this right, of anyone who's like even on social media. She's gotten the most views, which is insane. And she was talking about how when we make our hooks, if you can say, well, duh, to your hook, like that's stating the obvious, like, thank you, Captain Obvious, that is not the hook you want. You want to start looking for the nuances. So for example, one of the things she said is she had a woman who was selling silk bags for very expensive purses. Like she was selling them like these beautiful silk bags. And the woman had started with one of the hooks that she would have on her page all the time that was not doing well. And it was like, get one of these silk bags. This is how you protect your purse. This is why they're so important. Talking about this all the time, saying all of the reasons why, saying the great things about this silk bag. And Adley was like, how about you say, I'm about to save you $25,000 with this silk bag. Now everyone's like, how can this silk bag do this? So you have to start thinking of different ways to approach it and different nuances.
That's
so
good.
Maria came on and she was talking about how she truly believes everyone should run ads, even if it's $5 a day. Create either a low ticket opt-in so that you are consistently running $5 a day to getting new leads, or running it straight to a low ticket offer so that you are getting eyeballs and being omnipresent. And if it's $5 a day and you guys really get this, you essentially could be paying for your ad spend while gaining new eyeballs. And I know a lot of you are not crushing it in the organic content game right now. And there's probably some posts that you have done on your page that are a direct tie to your offer that you could run $5 a day ads to in order to start getting more leads. And then she also showed me something amazing when we were backstage in the green room while we were kind of like waiting to go on stage. And it was me, Sam Skelly, her, and a few other people. And I was talking about this new thing that I'm launching, $1 Million Guest, that I'm talking about right now. And all of a sudden, Samantha Skelly starts talking about this testimonial that I just told you about, you know, getting 100K of new clients directly from my podcast. And then Maria was like, oh my God, Lori, your podcast was so amazing for me. I got so many new followers. And she's now posted about 10 reels from our podcast, 10 on her page that she has collabed with me on, and has gotten a ton of new people. And she said, okay, give me your phone right now. And she was like, we need to film these testimonials right now, and turned it on herself and turned it on Sam and filmed them right then and there, handed it to me. And she goes, if you don't do it right now, you're never going to go back and do it.
Yep. Amen.
And I just had this moment of, she just gave me the best gift of my life while I launched this program, to be able to have these insane testimonials from incredible people. And it was just this moment of like, holy shit, how many things are like, oh, I should do that, but I'll do it later. Like, it's the reason why, even though I feel embarrassed if I'm on a walk, even though I feel embarrassed when I'm out to eat, like, I'm like, film it now, because if I don't film it tomorrow, I'm going to go, God damn it, I don't have any content to upload, and I just need to sit here and create content. And so you need to do it now. You literally need to do it in the moment, or I promise you, nothing is going to change, you guys. There will be nothing new in your life. There will be nothing changed. You're not going to suddenly wake up tomorrow and have a different identity. Trust me. But the one thing that you can do is you can do it now and start changing your whole future.
And that is your sign to right now go register for training about how to do everything that these girls just talked about and apply it to being a professional podcast guest. This is going to be your number one sales channel that you don't have to spend money on. You don't have to spend ads on. You don't have to do anything other than learn how to get booked and then learn how to blow people's minds in a way that converts to instant customers. We have cracked the code on this. So free training, go sign up at milliondollarguest.com/training right now. Just like Maria Wendt would say, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. So right now, go to milliondollarguest.com/training.
You guys, there are 6 different live sessions for you to choose from. I'm doing some in the morning, the afternoon, at night, on the weekend, because I want to spend this time with you live so you really get this, so you really feel my energy and you understand what this could mean for you. If you are a long form girly in a short form world, let me tell you, this is like your dream channel. If you're someone who loves to be able to chat, tell stories, be asked specific questions about what you love and what you do to get you in your zone of genius, I'm telling you, this is about engineering the perfect episode where people literally walk into your offer and eat out of your hand at the end. So I'm so excited to teach this, you guys, and I can't wait to spend this time with you.
milliondollarguest.com/training. See you on there, guys. Love and appreciate you.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.